It's been a long day. All right. And happy Monday.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back. I'm kind of exhausted. I'm kind of like, ever been back into the workforce when you put your first foot in and get into this new world of things? I'm kind of tired, but it's a fantastic Monday morning. And I hope everyone is awake and ready and has their coffee in hand, or Monday evening if you relax and laying down. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 68. 68.
Yes, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful and great start to their week. For those of you who had a great weekend and enjoyed the sun, enjoyed the heat, you know what I mean? Because it's pretty hot everywhere.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
I've heard it's like in the high 80s, 90s.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be a cruel summer. It's going to be super hot. So, you know, whoever enjoyed their weekend, got their tans and was out in the pools, beaches, and whatnot, lakes, depending on what state you're at. We hope you guys enjoyed the sunshine and the summer.
Yes. And speaking of weather, I hope here in Seattle it continues to be bright and sunny, because I haven't seen rain in a while. So that's a good start to hear. In last episode, we had a Seattle native, a Washingtonian named Michael Wong, who was the co-founder and CEO of Pika VR, virtual reality. I've gotten so many comments and, you know, hype about people being excited, like interested, intrigued when we put up the pictures about, like, you know, the little VR stuff. It was a good conversation.
Very cool. And he had good energy. I know that Michael's going to be a friend to the podcast because he's a very supportive individual. We support his vision, his idea. Anything that can empower and enrich the future generations in education, we support it. Make sure to check out number 67, right on the Fresh Mondays podcast episode with our special guest, Michael Wong. And make sure to check out Pika VR. Go on the Instagram page. If those of you like Instagram, just go to @Pika VR, and the website is pikavr.com, so you guys can learn about really cool ways to get kids interested in reading books.
Yeah, it's great to see people making great impact out there in the education system, making changes. And then our episode prior to that, we had Carla, who's like a huge creative and making communities and things like that. And so keeping that ball rolling and building communities and connections and networking, those things. We have a great guest this week for episode 68.
Yes, we do. We have Arielle. She's going to join our conversation. She is here in the sunny Miami, and she's going to be sharing a whole bunch about her 100K Incubator. We're going to join her and have her get on the call right now. Now, everybody, I would like you to please welcome Arielle. Arielle, welcome to the Fresh Mondays podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's really cool to be here.
Awesome. Now, we do want to ask you, let everyone know what the 100K Incubator is and tell us how you even got it started.
Yeah, so the 100K Incubator is the first business funding mobile app for women. And I got into the industry because I've been a marketing and business strategist for the last 10 years, primarily working with women-owned startups. And I noticed that there were a lot of things that we were lacking, you know, in our businesses, but one of the main things was proper capital and funding to really be able to scale to the next level. And so that got me thinking about how can we actually create a centralized location that brings in multiple different types of funding, literally from business loans to business credit cards, business lines of credit, business grants, pitch money, venture capital, angel investments, just really all sorts of funding that could come together to be able to help women fund their businesses. And so I wanted to create a platform that put all of those things in one place. And I wanted to create a platform that allowed women to scale to $100,000 in annual sales once they actually receive the funding. And so we do three things. We educate, we connect women to funding partners, and then in addition to that, we help them scale to $100,000 minimum in annual sales. So it's been a pretty cool journey, and I love the work.
Sounds incredible. Sounds like a really great space to be a part of and something to participate in. So in the early stages, what are some of the challenges you see that some business owners are experiencing?
Yeah, so I think it's really twofold. So one, I think it's lack of capital, right? So there's really this kind of bootstrap mentality, especially I feel like when it comes to women entrepreneurs, that we have to like fund our businesses, run our businesses, and just do like the most. And the truth of the matter is that like every business requires capital to be able to scale. So the question becomes, is the capital going to come from your personal, savings? Are you going to drain your 401k account? Are you going to mess up, your credit and your family's kind of nest egg and, all of those things? Or are you going to tap into the right types of capital to be able to really scale the business and start to really create some separation between your personal finances and your business finances? And so for me, it's all about organization. It's about maintaining, our livelihood, at least on a standard kind of basic level, on the personal side, and then still having the capital to be able to scale the business in a smart way. And so after, I find a lot of entrepreneurs get funding, sometimes they do the wrong things with it. And so that's why it was really important in the mobile app for me to really be able to teach and explain, like, okay, after we help you get this funding and we connect you to our funding partners, like this is actually what you do with it to scale the business, because there's so many investments that you can make, in a business that really don't produce, like direct revenue. And so I always like to, invest in things like advertising. I like to invest in things that produce like money, like immediately. And then from there, we can kind of create a plan of like, okay, what do we actually do with, maybe some extra funds that we have? That's when you can talk about maybe investing in that expensive coach that you've always wanted to work with, or, all of those things. But in the beginning of a business, I always say, we need to focus on customer acquisition and expanding our base. And so that's what the ad money is used for. That's what the budget is used for. And so, yeah, that's how we get down.
But what about those people who've been stacking their coins and they're like, you know what, I'm saving $5,000. I did this because I want to invest in myself. This is what I want to do with my money. Is that a bad idea? Should you save those $5,000 and look for other ways of getting funding?
I think that's entirely up to the person. If you already have personal savings, if your family is good and you just have leftover extra money, cool, no problem. You can definitely invest it, into a business. I find that that's usually not the case. What I find is that people are tapping into their nest eggs, tapping into their personal savings, and kind of draining that in hopes that the business is going to like take off in 6 months and then basically be able to support them. And so for me, I'm like, wait a minute, we have to have some organization. We have to have some separation. But yeah, of course, like if you have extra cash and you want to be able to invest that in the business, then yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
I love that. This is great, like tips and starter points. Like this is fantastic. So what are some other like advice you see a person who is not seeing profit the first year of their business? What's some like points or advice that you can give for that person?
So I always say that you have to know your numbers. It's one of the things that I really love about 100K Incubator and the program that we've created. We are a numbers-oriented group. We are not here for the fluff and affirmations. There are plenty of people who do that work and who are kind of amazing in that space. But for us, it's like, how much does it actually cost you to get a customer? What are your conversion rates? When someone finds, your funnel, your sales funnel, which I can go into and explain more about that in a second. But when someone finds your sales funnel, what percentage of people are actually converting into customers? What's the lifetime value of your customer? How much money are they actually spending with you in a year, 2 years, 3 years? And so for us, it's all about the numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, that's where you run into trouble. I think a lot of women in general have this fear around investing, in business because they don't know their numbers. And so it feels like this wild risk where you're just throwing money at something, when if you actually knew that, hey, for every $5 that I spend on my ads, I make $10, in a customer purchase. So I have a $5 profit margin. If you know those numbers, then you can justify taking out a, $5,000 loan to make $10,000 and still have enough buffer room in your profit to be able to cover whatever interest charges there are, which would probably be minimal if you knew how to advertise properly and get that return on investment, within a month or 2 or 3, right? And so again, if you go into the numbers, which is what we actually train you to do and make sure that you have, taking capital from other people becomes actually really fun because you're literally using other people's money to profit and to make money. So that's what I always say. Like the more you're educated about your numbers, the stronger you're going to be in your business. And it just makes you a better CEO overall.
explain for those, you said the sales funnel, so if you can explain to the public, to our listeners, so for those who may not know what the sales funnel is or what a funnel is.
Yeah, so a sales funnel is basically the process that you take a customer through, or a potential customer through, from the time that they first find out about your business until, you know, their first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, etc. So it's literally a system. And I think a lot of the mistakes that I also see is that people think that they have to be live on social media, or, you know, that they have to just be posting or whatever to be able to make sales. When the truth of the matter is that your sales process should be automated on a pretty like substantial foundational front. So what that looks like is, I see an ad that's being run by you, you know, maybe on Instagram, right? I click through, I'm offered something maybe for free. Maybe it's a discount, you know, on your e-commerce store. Maybe it's a free class, you know, to learn more about your services. And then you get my information. In exchange, I get whatever free discount or free offer that you're offering me. From there, I'm educated about your company, I'm given this free gift, and I'm taken through a series of text messages, voicemails, emails, you know, depending on the media that you use to set it up, that continues to educate me not only about your company, but also how you can solve my problem, and, you know, why you're the best at what you do, right? And so the goal is to get the first sale, and then from the first sale to continue to kind of build. If you have that in a system again, and you know, like, hey, for every, 10 people that I put into this, you know, I get 2 sales or whatever. So that gives you about a 20% conversion rate. So you can then work backwards with your numbers and say, hey, I know that 20% of the people that I put into this funnel are going to give me a profit of $100. And so based on that, you know, I'm going to pay, maybe $50, to get a customer, in terms of cost. And, I end up profiting $100. And so from there, I can actually do the math and see like, hey, again, this is profitable, this works. And it just literally becomes this machine that you can just run people through. And that's how big corporations build and market. That's how smart small businesses build and market. And I think that's what's missing from so many conversations about women in entrepreneurship, is that we don't know our numbers and we don't have the systems in place to really be able to scale in an amazing way.
Right. So walk us through, because I know you said this is an app. And for example, a lot of women may be artistic in their skills, but they're not good in the financial areas. Or like, for example, you're like a really awesome hairdresser and like you have a client list and they paid you and now you want to get organized because you want to take your business to the next level. Like that, this type of conversation can sound intimidating. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't want to A, sound dumb, and B, like, I don't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how does one get eased into this process? When I get the app, I download it, like walk us through how that happens.
Yeah. So one, I always say that there's no such thing as a dumb question. Like you can come in and be like, I don't know anything. Like I'm new at this. Maybe you jacked up your credit. Maybe your financials are wrecked. It doesn't matter. We've worked with all types of women inside of the incubator. 500 women literally went through our beta program before we even launched as an app. And so I really took the time because I wanted to have a deep understanding of what women were actually facing, even beyond my 10 years of consulting. Like I wanted to know on the funding front, on the marketing, on the sales front, like what were women actually struggling with. And I have a lot of entrepreneurs that are like what you said. And so I designed the app to make sure that you're taken through a process and you aren't just thrown into things. And so when you come in, the first step is to go through our 50 video bootcamp. And I know the 50 videos sounds like a lot, but literally all of the videos are under 5 minutes. I'm very concise. I'm to the point. Like, I'm like, all right, this is what it is. This is what you need to do. Do this homework, keep it moving. Like it's very swift. And so by the time you finish, those videos, you have a pretty thorough understanding of not only how to prepare your financials, which is all in module 1. Module 2 is all about your options for funding. So we walk through 12 different types of funding that are available to you, and we break it into 3 levels. So you understand exactly where you are and exactly what you could qualify for. And we talk about everything from, interest rates that you should expect, if it is on the lending side, or if you're going after grants, what is it, that most grant making institutions are actually looking for? How do you prepare your application? How do you talk about your company? What do your financials need to look like? We walk you through all of that. And then the third piece is all about scaling to $100,000 in annual sales. So we literally break things down into monthly goals. So it's like, first we teach you how to make 1,000, then 3,000, then 6,000, then 9,000. And so it's really a baby step process that explains sales and breaks down like, okay, this is how you set up your funnel. This is how you set up your website. This is how you write your copy. This is how you target your ads. And so you have all of the information in that entire boot camp. From there, after you complete the boot camp, we then put you into our funding applications. And so we have created relationships with a bunch of different funding institutions. And so from there, you're all educated, you know what your options are, you know what level you need to apply under, and then you go in, you fill out the applications, and then you get to keep in touch with us. So this is not just an app you get thrown into and you watch a bunch of videos and nobody talks to you. Like, we have live support available, so you can literally call into my office hours, you can call into my team's office hours, and you can say, I got this offer, or maybe I don't understand this particular lesson, and you can actually get live feedback and we walk you through everything. And then from there, you know, after you actually get the financing and you get approved by our partners, from there, we work with you to make sure that you actually use the money properly, and that you actually scale the business. So it's really more so a long-term kind of process that I like to say. So it's like, you know, we can get you to the money actually pretty swiftly, but, you know, our goal is to stay with you as you continue to scale so that you have that support and you can call in and you can ask questions, or you can post in the app to be able to say like, hey, I'm thinking about making this business move. I don't know if it's really the right move for me. What do you all think? And then my team and I can definitely give you feedback. So yeah, try to make it.
No, I think that's super awesome, because I recall I have a friend that started a clothing line once, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't well versed enough to give her good or bad advice, but I did notice that she was spending a lot of money on packaging. And I'm like, do you really think that that's as important as like so many other factors? But like, she was one of those very detailed people. So like, all she wanted to do was make the experience amazing when the person opens the package and like whatever. It ended up being extremely expensive, and like it was a counterproductive move. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it's really smart to have guidance once you get the money, because, you know, sometimes people, let's say, get $20,000 for whatever blessing or an awesome sale or whatever, and then they like use the money in a really stupid way. Like, that's the best way for me to put it.
Completely blow it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And that's common. I've heard those stories so many times. Like, they're like, yeah, I had 40 grand, you know, or I had 20 grand and I put in the wrong thing and now I don't know what to do. So we try to not have that be the situation moving forward. So that's why we really feel a responsibility that when we get you money, that we make sure you know how to use it. Now, obviously, everyone's grown, everyone's their own person. And so it's not like we have like control over the money, obviously. You're given the money, it's directly, you know, to you from our funding partners. We're not part of that deal in terms of, you know, like managing like the business's money. Like, that's all you, because you're the CEO. But we are here to advise. And so if you tap into us, then we can definitely pour into you and make sure you have the right strategy moving forward.
That's great. Are there any specific, in order to become a part of the incubator and become part of the program and things like that, are there any requirements or any limitations that someone has to have? Like, is it specific products? Is it technology only? Is it kind of open to all? And I know it's women specific as well, correct?
So it's women-owned businesses that are based in the United States. We do have a few international members, but we really try to keep our marketing to US-based businesses only because that's the financial system that we teach under. And so when I'm talking about credit, when I'm talking about financial institutions, these are companies that tend to only work with businesses that are registered under the US system. So that's the requirement. In terms of industry, I mean, we're pretty open. So it's not something that you have to like either have an e-commerce store or a service-based business or a coaching business or whatever. Like, we've worked with all of those demographics. We've worked with trucking companies, you know, as well, women who are getting into the trucking logistics side, with government contracts. So we've definitely, we have a pretty diverse membership in that way. So no industry, nothing industry specific, so long as you're a woman or you identify as a woman, and literally, you know, as long as you're based in the US, you're good to go.
That's awesome. And also, so tell the people, how do they join? How do they contact you? Where to follow you? All the information just to get registered and sign up. I mean, we have tons of entrepreneurs, creatives, and people who really I know want to get into the game of really starting their business, and help like this, it would be fantastic to kind of get their foot started.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we would love to work with them, and thank you so much for definitely featuring us and having us. And so, for anyone who wants to get into the incubator, we do offer a 3-day free trial. So you can go to 100kincubator.com, and you'll get full access to that. To be able to get into the app, you can call into my office hours. You can check out our process. And you can do all that for free. Try us out for 3 days. And then after that, at the time of this recording, it's only $19.99 per month afterwards. So literally,
that's really affordable.
Yeah, it's designed to be that way. I don't believe in taking new entrepreneurs' money. I believe in investing long term in relationships. And so a lot of people look at me crazy. They're like, your app is literally the price of like a Hulu subscription or a Netflix subscription. Like, I can't believe how much value you're giving for the price that you're charging. And for me, like I said, it's about the long term relationship. At a certain point, entrepreneurs do get to that space where they're earning 6 and 7 figures. I've, by that time, usually been working with you for a few years. I coach on that level. Like, I know how to coach on that level. I used to be, in that kind of high price consultant role. And so this is about giving back. This is my chance to really sow into women who are new in the game, because I feel like not enough people are focused on this particular demographic of kind of startup entrepreneurs in a way that really cares about their businesses and where they're placing their financial spend. And so for me, I'm like, this is a way to give back. This is a way to make sure that you all are good. And hey, who knows, what'll happen in a few years. We might work together on a higher level, or you might just say, hey, there was this dope woman who started this app and she helped me get to my first 6 figures. And that's perfectly cool too. So yeah.
That's so what are the social media handles? I don't want you to forget any.
You can find me on social, on Instagram. I love to hang out on Instagram at Arielle Loren, so ARIELLELOREN, or you can just go to 100K Incubator on Instagram as well. So we're always playing around on there and have some great content, so you can definitely follow us for sure.
That's fantastic. I've always been that person who starts or writes down the idea of things, right? And you're just like, where do you go from this? Like, what's the next move? What's the next step? So this sounds fantastic. And I've worked at incubators before for other startups in those kind of aspects. So thinking of going into an incubator for myself and my own startup is like a great thoughtful thing. Like when you're like, okay, there's spaces out there for women who really can do this and be a part of this.
It's like finally a solution to the problem that you never knew who to ask for help. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's pretty much it, especially when they're focused on women. I think all the other spaces are very men focused, driven, and especially in the area that I live. So I find that intriguing and exciting as well.
Thank you.
Yes, we are so excited. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of the podcast. We know that you're super busy and you do a million things at once. You're like a true powerhouse. I'm telling you, this girl is always working. Like, she cares about her clients. She's up at like 4 a.m. and she goes to sleep like at 2 a.m. I don't know when she's sleeping, to be honest with you. And I know that for a fact, because when I'm having my insomnia moments, like, she's on. So that's how I know she be on. So guys, thank you so much for having you and having you share your story. We really appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing for women.
Thank you so much for having me. It's definitely been a pleasure. And however I can be of service to your community, definitely let me know. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Arielle.
So that was enriching. I felt like my brain was like fueled right now with that information.
That was awesome. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel very excited for future kind of like endeavors or opportunities or like creative thoughts, or you know what I mean? Like, it gives you a little bit of like hope that there's opportunity out there.
Absolutely. Because it's like half the battle is like, where am I going to get the money to make this happen?
When you look at your savings and you're just like, no, that's not, no, we can't do it. Or like you make one product. I remember I made a candle once before. It's like, oh, I can make a candle business. And it was just one. And then to think of like how much you have to invest into making multiples to ship out, like that's a lot.
It is.
So
I mean, especially now, like with the e-commerce world, like it's really popular now to like be like the middleman that helps ship the mass production. Like I know a lot of people would love to know how to get into that, but you need capital to make things like that happen because you need to purchase a lot of shit. So it's like, it's interesting to know that there's a way to make this all happen. You know what I mean? It's really dope.
Really cool. And of course, being that she is a woman, Arielle created this and built this herself, even makes you more inspired to be like, all right, I need to get something happening. Because she got connections, network. She's going to put you in that space. So pretty awesome stuff, people. And in continuing to today's episode, it is our favorite portion. Well, other than our interviews, we love our interviews. But our favorite part also is our recommendations of the week.
We're gonna start doing some special effects.
I can plug it some in. You might see it on YouTube. I'll start off this week real quickly, and kind of two things that been on my mind, and also I just want to give a suggestion, sort of recommendation. Recommendation this week for me is join a Facebook group or a Slack group or Discord group or
okay.
Discord. What's the other one that we use? Telegram group. Discord doesn't, I don't think it works anymore. Anyways, Telegram groups. Join those little networking groups. I have been so blessed and lucky through so many connections I have made through various groups that I've participated in. And this is like, especially with me just finding freelancing jobs, opportunities, small gigs, projects, connecting with people, even getting recommendations of like what the hell to eat in the city, right? It's been so amazing being a part of those groups, because you think it's kind of corny and like you're in a group chat like back in the day, like AIM or something, but you're not. You're there with people who have other resources, who have other things to share, who are looking for something as well, and you can partner up with them. Parties, events that I have found, been a part of and attended have been great. Even my sister's benefited from this because I've sent her all these New York incredible events where she was at a panel speaking at Twitter with Luis Fonsi and meeting people and connecting people that then achieved to getting donations for Puerto Rico relief funds. So like the smallest thing has turned into great opportunities for others. So my biggest suggestion is sign up, like just register for any of those small groups. And I can share some fairly quickly. One is Ladies Getting Paid.
Is that on Facebook?
That is on Slack.
Slack, okay.
If you have Slack. Ladies Getting Paid. I'm in a local one for the Seattle area. This is not opening fast enough. And then Minorities in Media is a great one. I found some awesome opportunities. Also depends on the area and what region you're in. But these are great opportunities for people to participate in. And Facebook has groups too. I found a lot of new followers for our podcast through our Facebook groups. So just join those groups. You never know what might come out of that and what followers and ideas, suggestions come out of it. So that's one for me. And number two, continuing on the Facebook, my recommendation is to, now that the political season is upon us, train your parents, your grandparents on Facebook. Just take 20 minutes out of one of your days, sit by your parents and explain what is fake, what is an ad, what is registering for something, what you're plugging in your information for, how your Candy Crush connects to your Facebook, and how you send requests. Little things like that. Sometimes people need some refreshers.
And the reason you say this is because we're trying to avoid any kind of manipulation that can influence you to vote a certain kind of way, or based on them capturing data. Is that
No, more in just so you don't get provided the wrong, just so you don't get fed the wrong information. You know how to protect yourself on it, right?
Okay.
So I remember years ago, there was a situation where there was a rumor running around a local restaurant in the city we live in had a great F and they were feeding people animals, random ass animals.
Mm-hmm.
The post got shared thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Like everyone we knew shared it. And all I did was take the name of the restaurant, search it, and the whole thing was false because the restaurant never existed in the whole city or in the county.
Wow.
And so me being irritating and Miss Know-It-All commented on everyone who posted, it's not real. The simplest fact is that.
Right.
Little things, and you can tell things in pictures and how things are worded, different spellings, just simplest things, because you can cause a lot of harm to others.
Right.
And a lot of harm to yourself or situations and those things like that. So it's just about protecting yourself in the knowledge and information that's out there.
I hear you, but Lord, give me the patience. Anyone over 55, anything that has to do with technology. I don't mean to be a jerk about this, but yo, it is difficult.
You know what? I might start a class then. Start charging people so I can train y'all parents and grandparents how to use Facebook, because I can't this season.
I'm telling you, when my dad be like, este es cloud, me quedó la memoria este es cloud. Yo estoy aquí, esta vaina si jode con este iCloud. And I'm like, yo, I cannot do this. Papi, what's your password? ¿Qué password? Esa porque se me está preguntando por un password. I'm like, no, espérate, yo no puedo. Like,
yes. I know it's tough. I know it's difficult. Patience is tough, and treat yourself to ice cream afterwards, because we need it to save us in this world, people.
You're right, though. Everything you're saying is true.
We need it to save us. And I don't care what your political stance is, what direction. You can choose and vote however you want, whatever your thoughts and choices are. Fantastic. I just want you not to be fed the wrong information, because at the end of the day, facts are fucking facts sometimes.
And fake news really does exist.
Fake news really truly exists out there.
Yeah.
So I just want everyone to be careful. That's all it is. It's really that. And I might start a group where you can register your parents and I'll handle it, because or maybe they just need to be blocked. Some shit gotta go down.
Hey, okay.
I make my money that way.
I see a step forward, your footprint.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. All right. I appreciate that recommendation. And I also think that you're right. Practice patience with your parents, guys. We're all going to get old one day, and our kids are going to be like, yeah, the lasers are so easy to work. You know what I mean? We're going to be like, lasers. You know what I mean? Whatever. But my recommendation is going to be the following. Go to church, meditate, speak to whatever it is that moves you inside. Polish your crystals, do your yoga, whatever it is that allows you to have a spiritual connection and allows you to feel peace within, and to cleanse your mind and to kind of just give your thoughts the ability to actually manifest and just, accept it. That's my recommendation for the week. I went to church recently, and it's been a very long time since I've been to church. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the most religious person in the bunch. I've said that many times on the podcast, but I do have a faith-driven upbringing. So it is a comfort in that element, but also I do believe in God, and I do believe in spirituality, and I do believe with the communication with a higher being. And I do believe that there's something out there. So it just feels so refreshing to actually take the time to give that to your soul and to speak to something bigger than you, and to show gratitude to something bigger than you. It's extremely therapeutic. It makes you kind of level out again. It's the best way I can put it. And I say that because, as you all know, guys, I went through a very traumatic experience as of recently. And sometimes you don't really know what to do to cope when you go through certain traumas. And going to a place that provides that level of peace really is helpful. So if anyone's been through something tough or you're struggling with a moment in your life right now that you're in a crossroad, say a prayer, meditate, just channel that energy into something bigger than you, because there is something bigger than you out there, and it will help. I also want to take this moment to say thank you to all the nurses from the 7th floor in Mercy Hospital and all the nurses from the 3rd floor in Mercy Hospital. I went out there and I brought them some donuts just to say thank you and to show them that I was, up and running and walking again. And it was such an emotional experience that I didn't necessarily share that with anybody, but that kind of made me feel like I need to go to church. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But it helps, guys. It makes you kind of just take a moment. Sometimes you just got to say thank you. So whatever it is that you believe in, you have to just take a moment, guys. And that's my recommendation. Go to whatever allows you to feel that peace and whatever drives your faith. Go to that place and just be there and relax and connect.
Yes. And when you said you don't know how to explain it, you don't need to explain it. Sometimes things are for you. They're meant to be. They're for you to experience and feel. And
Yeah.
I love that. So thank you for sharing. Really appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. And thank you for everybody who supports and listens to our podcast, Fresh Mondays podcast. We have a few new surprises coming up really shortly. We're going to be featuring not only our recommendations, but we're actually going to be featuring some products and some people and some stuff.
Yes.
So, keep an eye out for that. And, if you guys are interested in having your product, your event, your music, hey, you never know. Let us know, and we'll work out a deal, and we'll put you on, and we'll make sure to let everybody know about what you got going on. Make sure to contact us at our Instagram at Fresh Mondays Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Mondays Podcast, on Gmail, freshmondayspodcast@gmail.com. You can reach myself at IamDianaC_ on Instagram. Once again, that's IamDianaC on Instagram. And like Marley mentioned, you can actually follow us on our Facebook fan page, which is Fresh Mondays Podcast as well. Make sure to also follow Marley at
LUVMARLEY _ Love Marley _. Thank you guys for listening once again. Hope you have a great Monday. And we'll see you from now on every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Special announcement, alert. That is not changed.
I think this might be after the 4th of July, right?
Yeah, so have a fantastic 4th of July. Enjoy the
God bless America.
God bless America. Because every year it's a finger, a thumb, a toe, a something. Please, and don't share the video when it happens either.
Fireworks are so dangerous. I don't get it. But yes.
Enjoy your holiday weekend, and we appreciate you guys always. Have a great Monday.